Welcome back, everyone, to another episode of College Hockey Talk. On today's podcast, I'm joined by a very special guest. A member of the Penn State women's hockey team, Maeve Connolly, joins the show today. Maeve, welcome to the podcast, and how's everything going?
Hi, thanks for having me. I'm good. I just finished finals, so now I'm just ready for summer.
Nice. Do you have any summer plans?
Um, my family and I usually go to the Cape, so I'll be down there a bunch and then working and then hockey,
Awesome. That sounds
usual.
awesome. What part of the
Yeah.
Cape do you like to go to?
We go to Harwich.
Oh,
Yeah.
nice, nice, nice.
Yeah.
I would like going there as well. I'm just curious. That's one of my favorite towns, either that or Dennis. Those are usually the two go-tos that I like to go to when I go down to the Cape.
Yeah, we actually live our house is like right near the Dennis line, so like we're super close to Dennis too. It's so nice.
Yeah, my favorite part of the Cape is the Cape Cod Baseball League. Like that's super fun to go see games, especially since they're free, and I know they're coming back this year. So I'm looking forward to going to some games in the upcoming summer months.
Yeah, when we were younger, we'd always go to the Chatham A's games, so I love going to those games too.
Now, besides just being on the Cape, what do you want to work on regarding your game hockey wise for next year?
For next year, I'm hoping to work on just like making quicker decisions when I have the puck, and like the little things, just like working on my shot, but also just like skating skills too, because you can always keep working on them. So yeah.
Definitely. Well, I want to transition a little bit and talk about the beginning of your hockey career and work all the way up to where you are now with Penn State. So you're from West Roxbury, Massachusetts. Talk about growing up there and how did you start playing hockey?
Yeah, so I loved growing up here. So the reason I started is because my older brother actually played hockey, and like he started with Parkway, and so he's 2 years older than me. And then like my parents put me into it, and we just would go to like the Roach rink, and I would do like skates on Saturdays, and then as I got a little older, I started doing junior Bruins, and I would still do Parkway. But like I played with boys growing up a lot, and then when I was like U12, I think I switched over to girls, and then I got more involved with like girls clubs. Um, and so yeah, that's pretty much it.
Yeah, did you have like a favorite player growing up from the Bruins or just another women's hockey player?
Um, I really love Brad Marchand. He's
Nice.
my favorite. Yeah.
Do you try to play with that edge like he does or you try to stay away from that part of the game?
No, yeah, definitely. I mean, I love watching him and like growing up watching him. My dad's always like, you got to keep an eye on him. So I just love his aggressiveness and like the way he plays the game. So yeah, I definitely try and mimic that in ways.
Now, the one thing I do like about Brad Marchand is a lot of people hate on him, but he's like one of the best goal scorers in the NHL, and I think a lot of people underrate that part of his game, in my opinion. I think he's more of a goal scorer than a physical player, if you had to ask me.
Yeah, definitely. I agree. I feel like a lot of other teams don't like him, but he's that guy that if he's on your team, you're gonna love him.
Absolutely, one of my favorite players as well. Well, before Penn State, you played for Noble and Greenhouse School. Talk about your experience there and what did you take away from it?
Yeah, so I was lucky enough to get the opportunity to go there in middle school. So I was there for 6 years. And in my eighth grade, I think, or in seventh grade, yeah, I was able to like join the varsity team, which honestly helped me so much in all my skills and just like my mindset. And I was able to really grow into the player. My coach, Mr. Resort, or like our head coach, like helped me so much along the way, along with like so many of the older girls who were such good leaders and mentors for me and definitely helped me like learn so much more about the game. And then when like growing up with the team was such a nice, like such a great experience to have. And then when I finally got older, like going into like my own leadership role, I just felt so lucky. And all of those girls have been like my best friends. And I'm still super well connected with a bunch of them. So it's just like a family, and I love them.
Yeah, and how'd you like try to transition into the team being a seventh grader playing with seniors and juniors in high school?
Yeah, so it was definitely a huge jump because I was just like really small. I didn't like in my earlier years, I didn't play much. Obviously, I was like not even that good. I was like so small. Um, but like even just practicing with the girls and like they were all bigger and stronger and like that definitely made me like have to grind more and work harder and like think about more things I can work on. So that was definitely helpful. And then I would say like all the coaches there were super helpful as well. And yeah,
Now, how did playing for that school help prepare you for college hockey with Penn State?
yeah. So the Nobles is very competitive just because everyone is super good. Um, and so every practice was like we were playing a game and we would always try and just like make the energy fun and like game like and we would do a ton of like 3v3 and like small area games, which would really get the competitive energy going like within our team. And so when I came to Penn State, we do a lot of similar games as well. And so I think being at Nobles, it really helped just because going into college, you already know like the feeling of having like the competitive energy. So I think that was helpful.
Now, what's been your favorite memory that you can remember from your prep school days?
I think my favorite memory was a year. We played Andover in the finals, and we were down. Honestly, the whole senior year was great, but we were down. I think going into the second or third period, and we were in the locker room, and all of us were kind of just like freaking out internally, but we were just trying to stay calm. And we kind of said, like we just got to dig down and give it all, and whatever happens, happens. But like in the end, we want to win this game. And so we went out there, and our head coach, actually, Mr. Rezor, he wasn't even at the game. And so, because he had a family wedding, which was very important. And so it's like 10 seconds left in the game and we end up we're like ahead at this point, and Mr. Rezor just like comes running into the rink because he got a flight. And so he came like in his car, he drove there as fast as he could, and he made like the last 10 seconds and we were all jumping up and down. Or maybe it was more than 10 seconds, honestly. It was all like it's all blur, but yeah, that was a great moment. Yeah.
I can just imagine him like running in the rink, just like full sprint. Like, I don't know if you
Yeah.
saw that video of the UMass head coach after they won their regional and he's just like sprinting on the ice. That seems like what it was going
Yeah.
on with your head
Yeah.
coach back in the day.
Yeah, it was awesome.
That's awesome. Well, doing research on yourself, you also played cross country growing up in high school. Talk about playing that sport and how did that help your hockey development?
Yeah, so growing up, I actually didn't start cross country until sophomore year, because two of my good friends were doing it. And I was like, you know what, I'll just give it a try because the team at our school is like super close and I wanted to, just have a team to like hang out with, do team dinners with. And so I learned so much, like from the coaches and the girls, just because although the sport is individual, like the way it was at our school was that it was very not individual. Like you would run separately, but the whole mentality was that you were running basically together. And so I would say all of the running was like some of it was awful, but it honestly like made me so much more mentally tough and strong. And we would have like the races were 3 miles, which like I think is pretty hard. But we would always go in and like we would have a big huddle, and we would have this saying that's like um it was something about like never, I don't even know what it is, but it was just very like together. And I learned so much from the older girls as well. And it was just kind of like a very selfless sport. Like you're not doing it for yourself, but you're doing it for your teammates. And I think I bring that to hockey as well. So yeah,
That's awesome. And you also earned 4 ISL championships from 2015 to 2017. Talk about those championships that you
right.
won and what do they mean to you?
For hockey, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Um, yeah, those were super special. Just because, I mean, Nobles has always had like a name for winning the ISL. And then when Tabor joined the ISL, it got like a little more tricky just because like they're a really good team. And so they always like kept us on our feet. And I would say our last win was super special just because we were able to do the ISL and the New England's like together, and that was just great. And kind of like having it done the year before COVID like was super special because COVID like came right after we were able to win our championship. So it's just a weird time. Um, and yeah, I mean, I love like looking back and thinking of all those championships just because I think more about like the memories with the teams like from each year and like the specific players I was with and like all those times. So yeah.
Yeah, and I guess like did you get to have a graduation at all last year or was it like virtual?
So we had a Zoom which went through like every kid's name and it was that was virtual and then they let us go to school and like drive by and take a picture and then take a picture on like the grass area. But then we had like a fake graduation or like it was a smaller group but we had like a fake graduation after.
Yeah, and it's been crazy because it's been over a year and it's still coronavirus is still prevalent in many people's lives. So it's just crazy to me like how it's still going on. Like I thought it was going to be like honestly 2 weeks when it happened and then it turned out to be much longer than that.
I know. I agree. It's very crazy.
So what was your recruitment process like and why did you choose to go to Penn State?
Yeah, so when I'm trying to think what grade I was in, but like with club, I think I was on the Wizards and then I was at Nobles and like we'd have like the Harrington tournament where so many college coaches were there. So I kind of got some what's the word? Um I'm blanking. Um I just like was able to be exposed at those tournaments and so I was in contact with a couple coaches around then and I was actually talking to Jeff um, when he was at Princeton. And so I like had a really good relationship with him there. And then when he moved, I was like, you know, like this guy is like he wants me to be there and like I want a coach that wants me. And it kind of worked out. And yeah, I just was really happy to go to Penn State. I didn't really know like what to expect just because I've always been like in Boston and like I love being close to the city and Penn State is kind of in the middle of nowhere. And at the beginning, it was hard with COVID. I did feel like a little homesick. Um, which I think a lot of people were, but yeah, I've learned to like love the campus and everything. And yeah.
And what was the biggest adjustment you had to make to college hockey, like on the ice? Was it the mental side of the game since you're making quicker decisions, or was it kind of the speed of the game since you're going against players that are a lot faster than in high school?
I would say it was more like the mental side, like getting prepared for the games. You know, we come to the rink a lot earlier, and just getting in that mentality. And then on the ice too, like it was like in the first couple of games, like very nerve wracking. Just like get out on the ice and be like, okay, like this is it. Like you've wanted to be here your whole life, and now you're like here. It's just like it was all kind of like a lot. But then as you like do it more and more, you just calm down and you're like, well, this is it. And then yeah, I would say the on ice was like definitely quicker too. So that was something else I had to get used to with like making quicker passes. So definitely something I want to work on. Yeah.
Now, talk about what it's like playing under Coach Campersall. I know you were mentioning just a few minutes ago how he helped you through your recruitment process, but what's it been like to play under him? And what has he taught you about the game so far in your first year in college hockey?
Yeah, so it's been great playing under Coach Campersall. You know, we have like a great staff. And going into the games, it's always like a like do like give everything you have mentality, like no matter what, and kind of like let's hype each other up, like let's give energy to other people, and like let's be there for your teammates. And I think our team was really able to like embody that this year, just because we were always like there for each other, cheering each other on the bench, um, like picking each other up when you need to. And yeah, I've learned a lot from my coaches this year, from Coach Campersall, the other coaches as well, and my teammates too. So yeah.
Now, what's been the biggest improvement you've made to your game so far in college hockey?
Wait, it just froze.
Oh, sorry about that.
Sorry, I
I
missed
can hear you
that.
now. No, it's all good. So just like what's been the biggest improvement you've made to your game so far this year in college hockey?
Hmm. I think so we had Coach Melissa Samoskevich as like our assistant. Um, and when she came in, she would like take the forwards aside a lot. And I think the biggest thing that I was able to improve upon was like zone entry, and like the way I think about entering the zone, because I feel like in high school a lot of the time I would just like try and use my speed, which is like always a good thing, just use your speed. But like my weakness was that I would like just try I would just be like on the outskirts of the ice, which is like you're not going to score it from out there. Um, so she really helped me. I feel like find a new vision, like or unlock like a new vision that like I hadn't really seen before, and like really helped me like find like getting to the ice, like getting more shots, just like creating a lot more opportunities. Yeah.
Now, Penn State was obviously one of the best teams in the country throughout the regular season. You guys were ranked top 10. Talk about how you dealt with all the pressure of having that ranking, and what did your team do to try to maintain that success throughout the regular season?
Yeah, so coming in this year, I guess we were like still like underdogs, and then when we started winning, we were kind of like really excited because we were like, this is it, like this is our year. Um, and to kind of handle the pressure, I feel like we were just like before every game, we kind of just be like, this game is no different than the next game we're gonna have, and the game after that. Like we just wanted to get like as far as we possibly could, without like changing our mindset. Like we tried to have the same mindset pretty much for every game, and I feel like that help us like stay calm and like try and make the most of it, as much as possible without like getting too over our heads.
Yeah, and what's it like playing in the CHA? It's obviously a smaller conference compared to some of the other conferences in college hockey. What's your experience been like so far playing in that conference?
Yeah, I think one thing about the CHA is like everyone is super aggressive, and I feel like a lot of the teams in the CHA are often underestimated, just because it is a smaller league, and some of the teams are like newer, like Penn State's newer. But I feel like playing against like Syracuse, we had a lot of good series with them. And then we ended up losing our final game to them. Um, and I think like every team could be considered like an underdog just to like the whole women's hockey in general. So I feel like every game, every team's trying to like prove it to not only the team they're playing against, but like to the greater hockey world that like we deserve a chance as well. And I think that's like really special because every team you play, like they want to beat you just as much as you want to beat them. And yeah, it's really fun.
Yeah, I want to talk a little bit more about that CHA semifinal against Syracuse. Talk about what happened during that game because your team kind of made a comeback in the third period, but it was a little too late, and Syracuse got that win. Just what was going through your head throughout that entire game?
Yeah. Throughout the game, honestly, um, so what happened? The first goal went in, and after that, I was just kind of like, we need to keep the momentum going. Like, we didn't, yeah, so like, we didn't have a goal yet. So I was like, we just need to get on the board. That was kind of what was going in my head. And then I was like, we just need to keep like the energy high on the bench, like try and keep like a good mentality. Um, and then when Liv scored those 2 goals, I was like, yes, like this is it. And then we were down 3-2, and I was like, there was like a couple minutes left, and at that point, I was like hoping and praying. I was like, we're gonna do it. It's gonna happen. Like we're gonna make a comeback. Sadly, we did not, but you know what? It's a learning experience, and I think it will only make us better for next year. And so I'm excited for that.
Yeah, your team did not make the national tournament this year. In your opinion, do you think your team should have made it to the national tournament?
Definitely, I think we should have. Yeah, I think we should have been given a chance. Um, Unfortunately, we were not, but I think if we were given a chance, it would have just been nice to see like what we would have been capable of. Like I'm not sure what would have happened when we got there, but it would have been quite an experience. But you know what? Next year we're gonna bounce back.
Yeah, and also next year the Frozen Four is going to be at Pagula. Does
Right.
that make you even more motivated to make it there next year?
Definitely. I think our team, like, we would love to play in the Frozen Four at our own rink. And like just thinking if that would be possible, like picturing it in my head, I'm like, that would be so insane and so cool that I'm like, yes, I will like I think everyone is very motivated to make that happen.
Now, your team had one of the largest freshman classes compared to other teams in college hockey. How did the upperclassmen help your transition into college hockey? And just talk about the leadership that players um, like Mallory Uline and other players like that. How did they help your leadership? I guess how did they help your transition into college hockey?
Yeah, so um with COVID, like everything was extremely hard in the beginning. We weren't really able to practice as a team or like work out together because we had like pods. And then when our season started and like we got all together, like I mean personally I was like struggling just being away from home, and like with COVID, like there wasn't a lot we could do. Um like we were pretty much confined to like our little groups. And so I would say Mal like definitely helped a lot. You know, she was constantly like reaching out to us like, want to do this, like get lunch, I can pick you up and drive you to the rink, like small things like that where it's like, oh, like someone's thinking of me and like she wants to be with us. Definitely made such a big difference. And I think a lot of the other older girls too, like the everyone in general, like with COVID, was struggling um everywhere, but with freshmen just like being new to Penn State, everyone was like super welcoming and like really helped us transition like in the earlier months, um and made a big difference. And I think that helped with like when we finally started playing, it helped bring us like closer together.
Now, this year's college hockey season, you guys faced a lot of challenges because of the pandemic. How did you like personally deal with all the challenges your team faced this past year?
Yeah, so in the beginning, or like over the course of the season before the or over the course of like the months leading up to the season, like individual people or like groups would have to quarantine just because like COVID. And that was like hard, but once we finally like got over this hump like into the season, where there was like a long stretch where no one really had COVID. I think only like a couple freshmen had it. um and at one point my roommate got it, so but that's anyway. And wait, what was I saying? Yeah, so I think other teams were definitely more affected than us. Like I really feel for like the men's teams who like couldn't participate, or like women's or men's teams. I don't know if there was any women's teams that couldn't play in the championship because of COVID, but like the men's teams who like had to get out of the tournament, like that is brutal. And like luckily we didn't have to go through anything like that, but like it's just constantly like being aware of like what you're doing and like who you're with, and just being like trying like having discipline to like be like, this is for like something bigger than myself, like this is for the team. and in the end, it all paid off. So yeah.
Yeah, and you guys played in front of zero fans throughout the season as well. Was that an adjustment for yourself playing in front of an empty building?
Um, it was like a little bit of an adjustment, just like seeing, like looking over and seeing like no one, because like we were able to get two tickets for like parents. Every kid got two tickets. So like they were behind us, and that was obviously like so nice just to have people cheering for us and like seeing them on the screen. Um, that was so nice. And even just being able to like talk to them after the game and like give them a hug. But yeah, it was a bit weird.
Yeah, you guys had those cardboard cutouts, and it was pretty cool how you guys did it because you had like a whole section of like dogs, like in front of I think the visitors' goalie net. So
Yeah.
I thought that was cool. Did the cardboard cutouts make any difference in your opinion? Because some players say they do, and some players say they don't.
Yeah, I thought they did. Like you think there's people there, like you don't think there are, but like I mean it's taking up space, so that worked for me.
Now, 3-on-3 overtime was also introduced to college hockey this year. What was that like for yourself to have more space in the ice and have more offensive opportunities to score goals?
Yeah, I mean I love the 3v3. Like we would do a lot of it at practice too. And in a smaller area. So like when we did get to like play 3v3 on like a big ice, it was just like you're literally like, wow, it's so open. But you got to be aware of like the like obviously the other teams trying to make moves too. So, but yeah, it was like it's super nice when it's like super open.
Yeah, and do you have to be a little more defensively minded in those situations? Because if you make one little defensive mistake, it can cause an odd man rush.
Exactly. So like you always got to be on your toes in those situations. Yeah.
How do you try to maintain possession of the puck, especially in your own zone? Because that's like the main thing about 3-on-3. Because I was watching a 3-on-3 overtime game. It was like a replay of an older college hockey game, and like the team had possession of the puck for like a good chunk of the first half of the overtime. However, once they lost it, the other team like really did a good job creating chances on their end, just because they had possession of the puck, and
Yeah.
the other team couldn't create line changes as well. How do you try to maintain like the possession of the puck in your own zone while creating line changes and preventing the other team to not make line changes?
Yeah. So I'm pretty sure I don't know. So I think it's hard because when there is three people out there and like they're out there for a good chunk of time, you're gonna need the line change. Um, but then you don't want to like make do it at the wrong time because that would be like a critical error. Um, so I would say that like one person just try and like keep possession of it. Um, but obviously then there's like if two people change, it can be tricky too. Um, but we did play this one game at practice, which kind of like helped out with that, which is where like it was 3-on-3, um, and then you couldn't change until if the other team got possession of it, two people would go change, but the third person couldn't change until the other two people joined the ice. So it's kind of like that mentality where you're like, I need to keep this puck for as long as I can on my stick until I get two new fresh legs out here. Yeah.
Yeah, so I kind of want to transition a little bit and go on to the non-hockey segment of the podcast, where I ask you some non-hockey questions. My first question to you is: besides hockey, what other sports do you like to watch?
Um, hmm. I like watching I like watching football sometimes. I'm a Pats fan,
Nice,
so
thank you.
I'll watch the Pats. Um, I grew up playing soccer, so I'm always like if there's soccer on, like sometimes I'll watch that. Um, trying to think. But like when it comes to the Olympics, well, like I just watch hockey, but when it comes to the Olympics, like I love watching gymnastics and like the swimming too.
Yeah, the Olympics is interesting because it's like sports no one watches, then people act like they know everything about those sports
Yeah.
that they never watched. Like I was my one I love to watch for the Olympics is the lugeing or like the bobsledding
Yeah.
because they just like shove these people down like a hill and they're going like 80 miles per hour on this like little like machine. And I've always wanted to
Yeah.
do it before. It looks so much fun. But
I
that's my
know.
favorite Olympic event to watch is like those. For summer, I'm not sure. It's probably
Yeah.
basketball or like soccer, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah, I do like watching the soccer, those ones, yeah, too. But yeah, I think gymnastics is cool, and I feel like we're always like really good.
Oh yeah,
So yeah,
Allie Raisman, she's from New England. She like won
yeah,
a lot of gold medals like in 2012 and 2016. So it's fun
yeah,
seeing some of those local people do well in the Olympics.
definitely, yeah,
Yeah, I'm trying to think like the one sport like there's a few sports like I can't get into though, like in the Olympics, like swimming. Like I know a lot of
yeah,
people like watching it. I just can't do it in my opinion. Just it's just not for me.
yeah.
But I'm trying to think fencing. I don't know if have you seen fencing at the Olympics?
No.
Oh, that's so much fun. It's just like these
Oh,
people with
really?
swords. Oh yeah, you have to
Yeah.
look at it once in a while. I think the Olympics are this year. Am I wrong? They delayed it to
I
this
think
summer.
yeah.
Oh,
I
that should be
think
fun.
yeah. I also like I think watching like Usain Bolt and like the track and field stuff and like the sprinting, those are cool too.
It's gonna be weird how it looks because of the whole like quarantine thing. I think they're
I
probably gonna have to
know.
do, but it's gonna be weird because there's gonna be Olympics this year and then next year with the Winter Olympics as well.
Yeah.
So I'm excited about that. Now, what is your favorite TV show to watch besides, I guess, hockey? That's my thing. So I'm curious.
Yeah.
Need some recommendations for the off season because the playoffs or college hockey season just ended.
Yeah, I'm a big Grey's Anatomy fan. I also like New Girl, like
Oh, that's a
comfort
great one.
show.
Hmm.
Yeah. Like I'll rewatch that if I'm like have time or something, but right now I'm rewatching Grey's Anatomy, so
Besides watching women's hockey at Penn State, what's your favorite sports team to support or just go to games at Penn State?
yeah, so we got to go to a couple of the men's games, which were like really fun to watch. And then we watched some of this girls or women's soccer and women's lacrosse is really cool too, just because like they're so good. Um, what other ones did we go to? I think saw men's lacrosse too. Yeah, it's kind of nice. Like you can just walk around and like
Hmm.
see games if they're happening. You can kind of like hear it from because like our rink is right near lacrosse, and then
Yeah.
soccer's like a little down. And then we also got to go to Beaver for like the a football scrimmage, so that was really fun to like finally get in there too.
Yeah, no, I know. Did you guys have any opportunity to like do any like pregame before like any Penn State football? Because I know that's like the big part of Penn State is the football team.
Yeah,
Because I know like they
we
weren't allowing fans. I know that like it was
yeah,
a lot
so
different.
they weren't allowing fans. So I think like people would just like hang out like wherever they like were and just like because like they were everyone was kind of bummed like we couldn't be in the stadium, so yeah.
Well, next year the whiteout game is like I heard that's like the big one of the coolest sporting events ever. Not just like in college football, but just in sports in general. Do you
Yeah,
hope to go to that next year when it happens?
yeah, I don't know when it is, but I hope we're around for that because that would be really fun.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, who is if there was a movie made about your life, who would you want to play yourself?
Oh, that's a good question. um hmm what have been like some past responses that you've gotten?
I got one person said Jennifer Aniston. I'm
I
trying to
was gonna
think
say
who
that.
else. Um,
um
I would say Pete Davidson. I know that seems like a random answer, but I've watched
yeah,
one of his movies before and it was so funny. And I feel like
yeah,
even though we look nothing alike, I feel like he would just be funny and just like have
yeah,
a
he's so
sense of
funny.
humor. So I feel like that would be a cool person to have.
Yeah, he's really funny. I'm trying to think. Maybe like Emma Stone. I feel like she's pretty funny. But
Yeah.
yeah.
Awesome. Well, let's talk a little bit about some of your teammates. Who is the funniest on the team, in your opinion?
Um, I would say my roommate, Liv Walleen. She's pretty out there. She's pretty funny. She is just crazy. Love her.
What is your favorite road arena to play in?
Hmm. Trying to think.
I know RIT has a cool.
Yeah, that
But
was a cool rink. It
yeah,
was really nice. I think it was like, was it just redone or something?
they built it like 5 years ago. It's like kind of
Yeah.
brand new, so I think
Yeah.
it's cool.
That was definitely a nice rink. Yeah.
Now, who has the best style on the team? Obviously, you do, but besides yourself, who
Yeah.
else has the best style on the team?
Besides myself, probably Mal Uline. She always has like great outfits.
Who is the messiest on the team?
Probably Josie.
Who is the
Yeah.
best trash talker on the team, in your opinion?
I think Lindy. Lindy could talk some talk. Yeah, she would be. Yeah.
Has she ever drawn any penalties before from it? Because I know that's an aspect of the game that people don't realize sometimes.
Um, I don't think so. I've never like heard her actually like trash talk someone on the ice, but like I feel like if she like wanted to, she'd be good at it.
Nice. Now, what music do you like to listen to?
I'm pretty like basic with my music taste. Like I like growing up, I was a big One Direction fan. I like Justin Bieber. Let me take a look at my Spotify.
Here's the thing with Justin Bieber, and I know I might get some like I guess negative reaction on this, but I'm a big Justin Bieber fan. I know that
Yeah,
might be a guilty pleasure for some people, but I full on will admit I love listening to his music. His new album is insanely good.
so good.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that
yeah.
song "Anyone," like I was listening to it
Yes,
last night. I was listening to like 30 minutes. It's a good song to drive
I
to.
know. I remember when it came on, I just like played it on repeat. I also like country, like summer. Now I'll be playing country a lot.
Yeah, I'm trying to think what else. Ghost, that's a good one. Hold
Oh
on. I
yeah,
can just go through it. I think his newer music personally is better than his older stuff, in my opinion.
yeah. I feel like it's more like what he would probably want to like put out, like versus like the old stuff was like kind of just like I feel
Scooter
like
Braun wrote it for him, and then like he had to sing it.
exactly,
Yeah.
exactly.
Well, let's get back to some hockey questions now. So your team had to deal with a lot of schedule changes, I guess, throughout the regular season. What was the key for maintaining flexibility throughout the whole season with all the postponements that happened?
Yeah, we would just kind of like before like stuff started changing. It was just kind of like you have to keep an open mind because really no one has the answers. Like so much was unknown to us about like if we even were having a season. We didn't know that for a while, but like nobody knew. So like we couldn't like find the answers anywhere until it like was actually announced. And yeah, so we just kind of had like an open mind to everything. Like if something changes, like this is an unusual year and like it's just gonna happen. Like it sucks, but yeah.
Now, what would you do to help grow women's hockey in your opinion? Like, what do you think has to be done to help grow the sport? Because I think it's growing, but it seems like there's some things that could be done to help grow it even more.
Yeah, I feel like um well, I feel like hockey is tough just because um well, I don't know, but I feel like to grow it like I mean, a lot of little girls I feel like would play it if they didn't see it as like something that's just for boys. So like if we get the idea to them, like I don't know how to do it, but just like make sure to like tell them that like it is for everyone. And I feel like when they do see like one thing would just be like having the championship for women, because when they do see like women on TV or like girls playing in like big games, like they're gonna want to do it too. And like I feel like that's a big thing, and it's like such a bummer that it got postponed, but I mean at least it's happening. But I
Yeah.
feel like yeah, like my little cousin, she didn't really wasn't really into it at first, but like I feel like when they have like someone like in their life, like she kind of like sees me as someone she can look up to, and I just like am so happy to be that person for her, just because like I'm so happy she's playing hockey, and like I love like talking to her about it, or like if she wants to like me to teach her something. And I feel um like if we can get more of that happening, it will like spread the game more.
Yeah, and I wanted to get your reaction on the World Championships being canceled and then getting rescheduled to August. I guess, like, what was your thoughts on just that whole situation?
I under well, yeah. I understand like safety is obviously the top priority and like COVID is still happening. It's just like such a bummer that like what they went through all of the quarantining, like being away from their families, um, just like the amount of work they put in, just knowing that they were gonna get to play and then like it just gets taken away. It's just like it's hard to see and um like I wouldn't want anyone to go through that. And it's also hard because I mean it it's happening, but like I feel like and now they're just gonna have to like put in a lot of work for longer, which I mean they'll probably be fine with doing, like they'll get to play in the end. But yeah, it's just like a weird situation.
Yeah, the one positive thing I will say about that whole situation is they're going to be playing it in August, and there's not a lot of sports that are happening in the month of August. So hopefully, it
True.
brings more attention to women's hockey just because there isn't a lot going on.
Yeah, I didn't even think about that. That's a great point. Yeah.
Now, your teammate Kiara Zanin was nominated as a top 10 candidate for the Patty Kazmaier Award. What's it been like to play with someone like that for this past year? And just how good of a goal scorer is she? Because I think watching her through a screen, you can tell how great of a goal scorer she is, but I think you could see it even more when you watch her in person.
Yeah, I mean, she's insane. Like she's and like the best part about her is like she's not just like a goal scorer and like she's not just like a hockey player. Like she's a great teammate. Like she's one of my closest friends at Penn State and um like it's just great for like the culture of our team, especially because she works so hard and like when you see other people working hard, like you want to like be right up there with them and you want to be like pushing yourself. So I feel like her like motivation like is able to motivate like so many others too, because like she's always at the rink, she's always like crafting, like perfecting her skills, like um that pushes everyone else to want to be better. And I mean, you like watch her, like I literally watch her practice and I'm like, how did she just do that? Like that doesn't make sense. And she's just so impressive. And like we're just so lucky to have her and I was so proud, like and just happy that she got that recognition because she really deserves it.
Now, what advice would you give younger players who are trying to pursue a Division I college hockey scholarship? I know you mentioned you had a little cousin who also plays hockey. What would you
Yeah.
tell her, I guess?
I would just say like I feel like a lot of times people like sugarcoat the process where it's like, oh yeah, like all of this happened and like I feel like there is a lot of struggles like in recruitment, especially like you're not always gonna, unless you're like the best of the best, like you're not gonna have everything you want, and like not everyone you want is gonna be wanting to talk to you. And I feel like that's something like people don't realize, or like kids won't realize, just because I mean when I was going through it there was a lot of stuff like you don't know, like your parents don't know, just like a lot you're unaware of, and it is such like a learning experience. But I would just say like don't give up, like if you really want to do it and like pursue, if you put in the work, like there's no doubt that like it can be possible. So yeah, I would just say like keep working towards that goal.
Well, do you have any shout outs you'd like to give to any of your friends, family members, teammates, anyone in particular?
um hmm Let me think. I'll just give a shout out to my family. Yeah.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for coming on the podcast, Maeve. I really appreciate you taking time out of your day and coming on. It means a lot to myself. I wish you all the best in this off season. Enjoy the Cape and stay safe, take care, and hopefully I get to see you play in person next year.
Yeah, of course. Thank you so much for having me. And it was great talking to you. And yeah, we'd love to see you at one of our games.
Awesome. Well, one question